Hi, it's Jez here from Nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. So today I am bringing you a 3D project, a Christmas bauble, and I have cased the paper pixie for this one. I was crafting with my sister. She wanted to make something different, and she wanted to do something 3D. So I do often have a look at paper pixie because she does make some amazing things. So I've used some retired it was DSP on sort of like almost card to make this one. Love how it turned out. So I'm going to make it again with this sheet here from the Brightly Gleaming Speciality Designer Series paper. This is the one that carried over from last year. Gorgeous paper, not got a lot left. And so I'm going to make it out of this one. I am probably going to decorate it with a few stars. This one I didn't. The paper pixie did some decorating, added some elements to hers, but I thought, I've got these stars, I haven't used them enough, maybe I will. So I've got me copper foiling out for when I decide to do that. And I thought these champagne gems would actually go okay with the copper foiling, I think. And then I've got a little bit of Night of Navy ribbon. This is from the trio pack to hang it up with. Okay, and so this 3D project I'm making for the Stampin' Hop blog hop as well. So you might have seen the blog hop. This is the tutorial that I promised you. Okay, so I worked out you can make 3 of these out of a 12 by 12 sheet. So you could get 6 matching for your tree. So it's gonna be 1 5/8 wide. So that is 1 1/2 is 4/8, go another 1/8, and that takes you to your 5/8. And we need 3 of these strips. So I didn't actually measure this. I measured it was the right length. Didn't measure I had enough 1 5/8 strips. Oh, I do have. I was feeling pretty confident that I did have. And there we go, 1 1/2, move along again, 5/8. There we go. And then, oh, nice little strip left. And then I need to cut them all down to 7 3/4. So it's 1 5/8 by 7 3/4. And these are a little bit bigger than 7 3/4. There we go. I could have cut the whole strip down to 7 3/4, but that would have meant the other little strip was a bit weird. So, and I quite like to do something with the other strip because the paper's so lovely. I don't like to waste a single bit of it. There we go. So these little bits, probably not a lot of use, but I'm saving them nevertheless. So there we have our strips, and then we're going to need our scoreboard, and they're all going to get scored in the same way. So we're going to score on the long side. We're going to score at 1/2 inch, 1 1/4 inches, 3 1/4 inches, 4 7/8 of an inch, and 6 7/8 of an inch. And I will put all these measurements over on my blog, so they're all exactly the same. 1/2 inch, 1 1/4 inch, 3 1/4 inch, 4 7/8, 6 7/8. And then the final one, 1/2 inch, 1 1/4 inch, 3 1/4 inch, 4 7/8, 6 7/8. Now don't burnish those score lines. I was doing it with my sister, and she kind of went ahead of herself and burnished them all, but you don't. Okay, so now what we've got to do is make our little circular bits. I've just realised I haven't brought the dies out for that. I've got the layering circles. This is what the Paper Pixie used. My sister didn't have the layering circles, so she just used a circle that she had. So we've used the third largest layering circle. I think my sister actually used a scallop circle that she had. Now, it's the outside that you're sort of looking at, and it is just slightly over 2.5 inches on the side. And what you're doing is, where you've got these two bigger, can't really see it better on that side, the two bigger rectangles there, you put your die or what other circular thing you might have that you could score around, you put it so that it's not quite on these horizontal, vertical even, vertical score lines, so that you can get your score tool in there to make your semicircles. And you're going to do them on each side of the rectangles. So hold it down in place and draw your semicircles around. On each of them. So I will show you up close what this will look like. When I did it on my original one, the cardstock's quite thick. I mean, this is a bit thicker than ordinary DSP, but that one's much thicker, and it was, I had to go over it on the other side as well, and I found that the last bit of making this can be a little bit awkward, and actually having a thicker paper made it even harder. So can you see I've got little score lines going up there and up there and up there and up there? Hopefully you can. So we're going to do that on the rest of them. So I must admit, I did get to the point when I was putting this together, we got so confused. So confused. I may yet get confused again doing it here, but we'll see. It's actually all comes together really well. But when you're doing it, you're kind of like, how on earth is that ever going to look like? The finished bauble, but it is lovely. And if we were still having guide meetings, I think I'd possibly make this with my guides, because I think they'd like how clever it turns out. There we go. And I do like seeing homemade things or handmade things up for Christmas. Every Christmas I make some new things, and it's always a great sense of satisfaction seeing them. Each year I see something new that I'm going to try out, or I design something myself. I don't often case, but this was lovely. And I mastered another bauble, which is going to come later in the month as well, which I really enjoyed making. So there we have our 3 of them. And then you just kind of pinch where the semicircle is so that you get those lines and those folds on their way. That one's not, I've gone off the line there, so be careful of that. So just get them all pinched up. There we have one there, and we just do the same with all of the others. What we've got here is we've got the double score line on this side and a single score line on that side, and on one of these we want to do a hole for the ribbon, so we just want it on one of them. So I'm just going to get my crocodile, whatever hole punch you've got, and I'm just going to eyeball and do, yeah, it's the 1/8 of the inch hole in the center there. There we go. Don't need that now. So what we're going to do is, where we've got that 1/4 of an inch score line, we're going to take some tear and tape and put a strip right up to that score line, and it's just easier to use something like a tape glue for this bit. You don't want a wet glue. And I think I'm going to put a little bit of extra on this one. So peel this off. And I'm just going to put a little bit on the edge there where it's come off. There we go. I can use my nails because these aren't false anymore. When I had acrylics, I couldn't actually use the nails, but it's quite nice to be able to use your nails for things like that. Although my nail technician would go, "They're jewels, not tools, Jez. Don't be doing that." So we're going to take out the foldy bits again. So we just create one like that, and we will create another one, but not the third one. Leave the third one. I don't think this is tear and tape because it's not quite as good. So, and you've got your score line to help you there for matching up where this is going to go. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to feed this one into that one, and we've got, that's the curved edge, that's a curved edge, so we want it so the curved edge is coming out. And before I make a rookie mistake, I'm going to put the ribbon in. Oh dear, good thing I remembered that. So bit of night navy, about 10 inches would be fine. Yes, you don't want to forget to put the ribbon in, because otherwise you're a bit stuffed if you do that. I'm going to leave that there so you can kind of see where we're planning on ending up. So I am going to fold this in half and tie a knot. And what Julie did is she made a little bit of a hole reinforcer. So I've got a bit of Night and Navy here, and with my 1/8 of an inch hole punch there, punch a hole, and I'm going to take a little 1/2 inch circle. I know we no longer sell it, but it is a highly used piece of equipment, and I haven't found a substitute for it yet that we sell, so I will be using it. You could use any. My sister didn't have a little one, but what she did have was a small star, so she used a small star punch. So you can improvise and use other things. I'm going to take my pokey in there to poke it through. There we go. So we can pull that up, and I'm going to tie a second knot. That was so good, because this is actually quite thin ribbon. I used really thick ribbon on that one, so it made a bigger knot. So if you're using thin ribbon like I am, try a second knot, and hopefully that will work. Thankfully they're not very heavy, so it's not like there'll be much of a strain on it when it is hung on your tree, and hopefully it'll be hung and it will stay there. So there we go, that's super duper. So where's my hole on this? It is there. So poke that one through there. There we go. So got a little bit of hole reinforcer there, just gives it a little bit of extra something there to help it. So now, as I was saying, we want to feed this in, and we want it so that that curved edges are on the outside and the seamed edges are on the inside. Okay, so that's going to have a curved edge at the top and a curved edge on the sides. So what we want is the curved edge of this one to be there, like so. So you're going to feed this in here, okay, and this in there, and for the moment the curved edge is going to disappear behind, because you've got to fasten it, and then we're just going to twist it round. So we've got our curved edge there, our curved edge there. At the moment the curved edge is hiding under there, but it will eventually end up here. So we'll take that off, and we stick that down on there, and then we just gently pull this around. Now my sister had difficulty with this because she burnished the edges, and I said just persevere, it's only paper, you're the boss, and she did actually manage it. So there, it was quite difficult for me because this is quite thick, but there, and you'll see that those score lines at the end of each of the rectangles are now sitting nicely. So now you just go round and push in these curves that you had previously pinched, and just push them in. Keep going round. And that is how easy it all comes together. And then if you're careful, like I am, with your packing away your baubles. I have quite a few handmade and special baubles that we buy on holiday, and they go in a separate box and don't actually go in the loft. These should last for a very long time on your tree. Now that is quite beautiful as it is, and I say that one I just left as that. It is quite robust, it feels quite firm. This one feels firmer because it was made with stiffer, but it is nevertheless quite firm, quite lovely. But I thought I'm going to cut some stars with this for decoration. We'll see how it looks. I may change my mind because I am just doing this on the hoof. And we've got these little stars. Thought we had more than one of these. Maybe so, maybe. So there's that one, which I did think about putting a star in the middle of each of these, and then maybe a bigger one on the top, was the thoughts that I was having. Okay, so I'm going to get those die cut. So I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little ones to go in the middle of each of these, and then maybe one big one for the top, and then I'll decide whether or not I'm going to use it. So I've cut the stars out. I went for one bigger because when I sort of looked at it, I thought, oh, maybe a bigger one would be better. So that was kind of where I was thinking with this, and I could even put 2 on there layered up. Might be nice. They also need a hole. I didn't want to use my crocodile on it, so I'm just gonna use my pokey tool here to put a little hole in the middle. I thought it'd be quite hard to sort of centre it well with the crocodile. Not that I've necessarily centred that well with this. So now I need to thread this through the hole I've just made. So I'll just sort of stack it offside. There, I think that works. And then I've got these to go around the outside. Now I did try the champagne gem on it. I think it works well. So I'm going to stick these on with glue dots, I think. That is the best way to do this. So I'm just going to turn them over and stick a glue dot on the back, and I'll put the gems when they're on because I think that'd be easier. So they're a bit bigger. Let me just fold it in half. There we are. Stick them in the middle. And we've got a lovely starry spangly little bauble for my Christmas tree. And if you've got themes going on your tree, you can choose your paper to go with a theme. I used to have navy and silver themed on a tree. Now I'm more anything goes, really, to be fair. I like it to look like an explosion in a tinsel factory. There. So there they all are. What a pretty little ornament for the tree. Hope you like that. Fits the brief of a 3D project. That's the original one I made with no decoration on it, and there's one decorated with stars. So all the details will be over on my blog, nigezza.co.uk. I will link to the paper pixie so you can see the original one, and I will link to the blog hop so you can go and have a look and see what everybody else has done as well. Okay, do have a go, and I'd love to see what you make. I think they're super, really, really clever little things. Okay, see you again soon. Bye.